Good afternoon, everyone. This is Robin Carter with Robin's Creations. Today is Friday, February 21st, and I am here to share my first set of alternatives using the February paper pumpkin kit named Hello Spring. Before we begin, let me thank those of you that have subscribed to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support. And if you're new to my channel, welcome, and I hope you find some helpful tips and with these alternatives that you would consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. We are almost 4,300, so if you can be a part of that, helping me reach that goal, I would be so thankful if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel so we can get to 4,300. All right, so let me switch to hands down to share what I like to share of upcoming things. Okay, you do not want to miss the March Daisy Daydream Paper Pumpkin Kit. The subscription period is going on now until March 11th. I think it's going to be a great kit. They've kind of told us if you love the sweet sunflower kit, you're going to love this one. So they've really built up my anticipation for that. I lost a word there. So be sure and subscribe. If you are new to Paper Pumpkin, what it is, it's a monthly kit that comes straight to your mailbox eventually, and I'll tell you more about mine in a minute, with all the supplies you need to create the cards as intended. Now, I like to make my kits more avid. I've done that with regular kits as well as paper pumpkin kits, and to create a lot more cards, adding supplies I have in my craft room, and I share those with you as we go along. So don't miss this one. It's also going to have a free additional stamp set. So normally we get one stamp set, but this March, it's the anniversary month of Paper Pumpkin. We're going to get an extra stamp set. So you don't want to miss this one. And also, I've mentioned these. I do have them to show this time. I didn't have them nearby. But you don't want to miss these add-on dies. Spring is in the Air is the name of them, and the item number is 166237. So I'm going to be using this chive die with the flower that comes on chives today in my alternatives, and I used the hearts last month. And here's what they look like. I do take a little a copy of my dies when they come in, just so I know if I'm missing one, what's missing. And I normally write how many are here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I put that there. But with the copy, I don't need that. We have a cute little bee and honeycomb that's intended for next month's kits. I've used them before in the December kits. So we're going to be using these. I already have a bunch of those pre-cut here. I spent the day yesterday just making me a lot of these, so I had them handy, and I like to store them in these little Velcro envelopes that are part of my favorite things. So I'll share more about that as we go along as well. All right, also ending soon on February 28th is Celebration. Now, Celebration is a time of year where when you purchase a certain amount of merchandise, you get to pick a free item from this catalog. Now, they have also added some regular line supplies to Celebration. So to find those, you want to go to my online store, click on shop, of course, and then go to specials, and there will be the Celebration items that you can pick from. There's some really great ones, including for only $60. There's a set of dies, the Alphabet a la mode. It's regularly a $40 item, so that one's quite a good deal. And then also the mini catalog. That's good through April. There's some great things in here as well. So let me set this aside and let's get started with what I have to share with you. Okay, so this is the kit as intended, and today I'm going to be making 3 alternative cards using just this one envelope. So let me put this away. I still have lots of goodies to get to, but I like to start with the dies and some things like that as well. I also have done my cut file. It's out on my Etsy shop, so if you like getting the cutout of the sentiments, it's there already. I like to do that first as well. So let's get started by cutting open this envelope, and let's hope I have a really sharp blade. You do want a sharp blade when you cut these envelopes because it's quite thin paper. Now, unfortunately, I put a really sharp one in, and I didn't mark which one was which. So if I get some fraying, we'll know it's the other one. All right, I've turned my trimmer kind of sideways so you can see. So the first thing I want to do is cut this open. So I put just right there where just a sliver is past the track marks, and I'm going to slice. And I need to do the other side, and I'm going to use the bottom part. Okay, so you can see just a little sliver I cut off, and now we can open this up. And we have lots of good envelope that I call DSP. Okay, now we're going to cut this off, and I'm not going to cut right at this score line. Maybe it's easier to see there because you generally get some fraying. So let me get my head in here where I can see the track. I'm going to set that just outside the track, and I'm going to cut that off. Now save this because we're going to make some cards out of that. And now we have this nice long piece of envelope paper. Now you can see here that it is right at almost 4 3/8. So I want to trim this down to 4 1/8. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a little from each side until we get there. So let's trim that down. And I'm going to turn it this way to see where we're at. That's going to be 4 1/8 right there. Okay, so I just had to trim a little bit, and then I'm going to cut off the flap right there. And again, I'm not going to go on the score line, and it's really hard to see on this side. So I'm going to flip it over and cut from this side, and I want just on the inside of it. Oops, I didn't set my, there it is. Okay, now I haven't done anything with this yet, but you can keep it. I may make some labels out of this side. It's kind of a light green. So I'm just going to put that away in one of my spare little envelopes. I'll put it in here with the chives. Okay, so what we're left with here is a piece that is 5.75. So you don't have to worry about what it is. Just kind of do it in half. So half of 6 would be 3, and it was a little less than that. So let's do 2 7/8. Okay, so now we have 2 pieces to make 2 cards with. All right. So let's set my, let's go ahead and trim the other part. So now we have this left, and you can see here that it's flipped. Maybe it's easier to see on this side. It has these lines on it. So we're going to make a card out of this. What I want to do first is trim it to where that fold is. Okay, and I'm going to, you know what, let's make this square first so I can see about how long it is. So let's cut off these. All right, so now we have a square piece, and then I want to do this. It really doesn't matter about how long, you just want it as long as you can get it. Let's try 4 7/8 and see if that gets everything. Okay, that's good. That got the flap. And now we can trim it down to, I'm going to trim right here where I don't get the curve. And I'm out of camera, sorry. Right here where I don't get the curve. So right there. And that is right at 2 1/8 inch, in case you're wondering. Again, it doesn't matter if yours is a little, like 2 inches or something like that, if you trimmed a little more off the sides. And then this one, I'm going to trim where this overlaps. All right, so to get that there. And this one's going to be about 175. Okay, so here's all our pieces we're going to make alternative cards with. This you can trash, and all your little scraps over here, I'll just set mine to the side. more scraps. Okay, so let's get started. Now this one's going to be, they're all fairly easy cards. Nothing, no rocket science here. But what you're going to need is a thick white card base. Okay, you're going to need one of these large pieces. So you can make two like this. I have one left from the one before. I've only made one of those. I like to add an embossed white layer that's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And that one is done with the Plaid or Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder. And you can see here, it is one of those large embossing folders. So, quite nice. The item number for this is 164049 if you do not have that and are interested in that. And I do have my February host code still going on. So if you do not have a demonstrator, I would appreciate your support. Okay, and then out of the kit, I got one of the chives kind of pre-printed there. And then I'm going to add some ribbon later, but we're going to get to this. Now, you need to either stamp directly on these chives, or I'm going to use my Stamparatus and some of my pre-cut ones and make some of the flowers that go on that. You can see I've used it quite a bit. So the petunia pop does stain your stamp. Now this does not damage it in any way. You can clean that off and use any color. That color will not transfer. Just know that it stains the photopolymer stamps and it's not going to damage it. Now if you have these add-on dies, there is a berry in here. And it's kind of, you might be like, wow, how do I line that up? Let's see, I'm going to need to. Okay, if you look, there's this little notch right there, okay? And on the stamp right there is that same little notch of where it's going to line up. So that's how you line it up. What I do is I stamp, and directly on this, I can clean this off. And then I take my negative from this die that I cut, and I line it up so that it's going to be in the center. And the only thing I have to remember is to keep this in the corner, which sometimes I forget that step. So I've kind of put some washi tape. The washi tape's not sticking real well. I probably need to use like a painter's tape or something. But I'm going to try to remember to keep that in the corner. It's harder to craft and talk than you would think, right? All right, so let's just ink that up. I was happy we got this in color Petunia Pop ink spot. I haven't really played with it much, so it was fun to get out these colors, and I think they're very pretty. So I'm going to set that one there. And one more. So that's what I like about this system is I can just cut, and they're all lined up. And once you take a little time to get it lined up, it saves you a lot of time in the next time you go to stamp some of these. All right, let me get my chamois and just give that a clean. All right, I'm going to set this over on my side table because we'll be using it again. All right, so we want to put these little flowers that the chives go on the plant. And I have my multi-purpose liquid glue here that I love to use. In my fine tip glue bottle, which I shared, it finally came back. If you saw a couple of videos ago, I had lost it, considered it gone, and then I found it in some of my ribbon boxes. I store my ribbon by color, and it was in the brown. So I don't know why I sat it in there. Maybe it fell, but it's back, so I'm glad. Okay, so here is our envelope piece. Now, be mindful of the direction of your plants. Okay, so the stems are down here. You just want to not get them upside down. And I'm going to adhere this right to the Forever Plaid. So with envelope paper, you want to not put too much glue down because it'll kind of wrinkle it because it'll get wet. But I do still like to use my liquid glue so I can have a little wiggle room to get it flush on there. Now sometimes I trim it just a little smaller. If you like that look, you can. This one I tried to get flush, so I just tap it on my table and keep my hands on each side and to get it flush. Okay, now on this card, I'm going to bring in some basic beige ribbon. Now this is current in the annual catalog. I do collect ribbon and kind of as it comes out. This one, thank goodness, is still current. And we're just going to put this along the gap of where it meets there. I just find it gives it more of a finished look. Got my ribbon scissors here. And just trim that. Now I'm going to get some, oh, that one kind of broke there, but it'll be fine once we get it on the card. So I'm going to get some tear and tape. We actually got tear and tape in this kit. I'm wondering if they're steering away from the glue dots. A lot of people don't like those. I find them helpful, but tear and tape is faster and easier for most people. The hardest part is finding where you left off. So, all right, right there. All right, so let's tear this off, the backing, and my nails broke and I had to trim them all. This one broke back way too far and it's kind of painful. So let me see if I can do this with my left hand. I may have to get my, take your pick tool because my, there we go, use my index finger versus my thumb. All right, so now we put the ribbon on. And you can decide if you like, you can kind of see through the the green. I'm okay with that. It doesn't show a whole lot, so I'm just going to use the embossing folder to hopefully make it straight. So there's that, and now we can put this on our thick white card base. This side is a little bigger, so I'm going to make that the front. And now I like to get out my Tombow liquid glue that's in the bottle, because when you have an embossing folder, the glue is going to kind of go down in the grooves. And as you can see, as I get it started, I like to keep my hand moving. That way, in case a big blob comes out, it spreads it out all over the back versus one big blob of glue. All right, and then let's put this centered on there. The tear and tape on the back holding my ribbon's not going to give me as much wiggle room. I think it needs to come down a little bit more. But if I just don't press down too hard at first, it'll give me that wiggle room I want. Okay, so that's good. So I'm going to give it a good press and rub to hold that down. And we already have our chive here. So like I said, this one is quick and easy. And we have, I think, 4 of these chives. So you can actually make 4 of these just like this using the envelopes. Of course, I love dimensionals, so I'm going to put this one up on dimensionals. Let's go ahead and add a couple. So when I'm not sure if it's going to hit the ribbon or not, I'm going to put that one there, kind of in the center, so that I know it's not just going to set on the ribbon. It needs to set down on paper because that'll lift. Get all these backings off. That one's off. And put that wherever you want it. I'm kind of going to be centered here. Let's center it up on the grid paper. Okay, to the eye, that's pretty centered to me. All right, so where is my one I've already done? So here is one that I finished already. Now this one I happen to use the Eyelet 3D embossing folder. And then I need to add a sentiment. Now this one comes from one of my cut file sentiments where I have a cut file tracing all the sentiments. I should have a whole little envelope of those. Here they are in my goodie box over there. So you can see I've made one for each of the ones. Thanks for helping me grow. So I think this would be cute to add that, and on the inside write like a Happy Mother's Day or Happy Father's Day, something like that. That would be cute, helping me grow. I do like the sending love. Okay, and you can put those there. You could put them up high. I think I like it down below. So any sentiment would work. If you were a Paper Pumpkin subscriber during December, we received all sentiments for any occasion. Thank yous, birthdays, all of that. So that is the first alternative. And then of course I add bling just about to every sort of card. So I hope you like that first one. Simple, quick, and easy. Let me put all these back up. And I do make two sizes of my cut files, in case you're wondering. So some of them, this is a good example. So this one has a bigger border than this one. I tend to like, well, actually those are about the same. Let me see if I can find the other one. Hello, those are about the same. I've used some of them already playing with what alternatives. Oh, here we go. To a wonderful friend and to a wonderful friend. So kind of some different size borders there. They are made in SVG for your Cricut or Silhouette. I did have a Silhouette user say they worked great in that. And then the FCN file is for the scan and cut. So keep in mind that you will get both of them in the download. Just, you know, use the one that for the machine you have. Okay, the next alternative, we're going to use these two side pieces that we cut. All right, so they're right there. Now, I wanted to bring in some extra goodies for these cards. So what I brought in, well, I again used the Forever Plaid. I just want to call it Plaid embossing folder. And then I brought in these wildflower design dies. I just love the look that this die gives. So what it does is it cuts the outside and the inside. So you want to cut that with Petunia Pop. Okay, and unfortunately I have them all separated in my folder, but you're going to want to use save both pieces. So we're going to start with the one that uses this outside piece. And I haven't really played with Petunia Pop, and I really love that color. So what you need this time is the same size 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 embossed layer. You can use any embossing folder. Now here's just a tip on the 3Ds. I like to cut it to 4 1/4, my original paper to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, because when it does this embossing, you know, it lifts and makes the paper a little smaller. So if I have it already at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, I emboss it and then I trim it to 4 1/8 by 5 1/4. And I don't think I actually trimmed this one. Let's see if I have one up here. Well, those are all 5. I did several of them and I thought I trimmed them down. We'll see when I get a card base out. Maybe it is. All right. Then we need that outside piece from the Wildflower Designs in Petunia Pop. The thick white card base. Let's see if I already trimmed that down. I did not. So let's see how it works. Usually when I trim this down, I like to use, let's see if that one is. Nope. My trimmer that has a roller blade, because the embossing can tear. Let's see if I have luck. All right, 4 1/8. Good, didn't tear. And 5 3/8. All right, we'll go ahead and do the other one just in case, so we don't have to get the trimmer back out. And 4 1/8. I usually already have those done to save on time, but I missed that step. Okay, a thick white card base, and I'm going to feel this side seems to be the bigger side, so I'm going to set that up. and let's start creating. So I'm not going to, it doesn't matter that these don't go all the way to the top. So I'm just going to kind of look for equal border. Make sure you have the direction of your herbs going the correct way. And let's adhere this down to here. Here it is. So again, it's envelope paper, so just a fine line of adhesive, or double-sided adhesive tape would work too. That's a real fine line. Hopefully it's enough. All right, let's kind of put that centered equal border and whatnot. Okay, we have this, and then we want with the, what did I do with the dies? So with this die, the third one down, you want one cut in basic white paper, which I have that right here. And then I have a sentiment, and this sentiment is from the new, oh, I thought I had it by me too. I don't have that, but I'll tell you what, there will be a full supply list on my blog of all the supplies I use. So be sure and check that out. I'll try to, I don't know if I might have time today to get that updated with my blog, but be looking for that if you're interested. It goes with the mixed floral suite is what this die is from. All right, so we're going to play with this and dress it up a little bit. So what I have here is Balmy Blue. Now you're going to see in a minute, I really like boho blue with this, but just for a faint blue background, I'm going to use the Balmy Blue. And I have a mini blending brush. Now, I usually love to blend on my glass mat, but it does reflect too much. So I'm going to show you the next best thing since it's just a little part. So I saved these clear blocks that you get in the kits. You will get one with your first paper pumpkin, but if you've done any other kits, you get a little block like this. I don't like to stamp with them because they're hard to grab and they're quite thin, but I do like to use them as a to blend ink. Now, hopefully I'm not going to move my table too much. Maybe I'll do this above. All right, and then you're going to want to do your center of your little basic white one here. Now, if you don't have these dies, there are a lot of things you could use. You could even just cut a square piece of white paper. So I just have these supplies and want to use them when I get the inspiration to do so. All right, so for this card, again, I miss my fingernails. All right, we're going to do the petunia pop there and this here. And then I want to bring in some twine. We did get twine in this kit, and I just go with whatever I have open to start with. So I want to add it down here at the bottom. And here's what I do. Rather than fuss with wrapping it around and it saves. And by the way, if your twine is ribbon or twine is not straight, take your fingernail, run it through, and that makes it more straight. See, it quit curling as much as it sits there and curls again. So I'm just going to cut off 2 links that'll tuck under the back. And then get out my tear and tape again. Now I can tell I'm already going to need my silicone mat when I flip it back over. All right, so let's get the tear and tape again. I think it's always on the opposite side I start rolling. Put some there. You want a good amount because we're going to not put them right against each other. All right, and let's take this off. I usually use my thumb. I'm having to get used to my index finger, but this one broke way back, you can see. All right, and then we're going to just do this. We're going to go kind of top to bottom. And I gotta press it down. Okay, and then we're gonna go, you know what, I didn't leave enough on that to grab the tape, so let's move that one again. I didn't have tape down there. It was half the problem. We're going to kind of make an X with these. With the twine. All right, and then we're going to make our own chives with the add-on dies. So let me get my Stamparatus. And like I said, I cut a bunch of pieces. I really wish we had 2 of the flowers because you need 2 flour per each chive. And it would be nice to cut 2 at once. All right, make sure that is in the corner. And let's do our chive. I'm just inking this. I know I'm off camera. I can close the blue and try to bring it back in. There we go. And I'm using Old Olive. I got this spot from one of the kits, regular kits collection. The one with the little doggies and the kitty cats. I gave that to my niece and she loves it. So that was a special little gift for her. All right, that looks good. And then we need 2 of the little flowers. All right, put that back in the corner. And let's do the chive. Let's clean off the chive just so it doesn't get a bunch of ink all over. So we need 2 of the petunia pop flowers. You know what, maybe while I'm here I should go ahead and do 2 of these because we're going to be using the same thing for our next card. So I'll go ahead and get the stamping out of the way. Need several more flowers. Okay. By the way, I did stamp these in Petunia Pop, on Petunia Pop, and that's okay. It kind of loses its detail. Same with the chive. But if you like that look, I thought I'd just show you what it looks like. So that's Old Olive, stamping in Old Olive. It kind of loses its detail of the individual leaves to me. But whichever ones you like, you do, as we like to say, for some of my friends and I, you do you and I'll do me. So that's what makes the world go round. Everybody likes different things. There's nothing wrong in card making. All right, so here's those 2. Let's keep doing the flowers so I don't have to clean it off again. See how quick it is once you already have this lined up? Well, ish, until it gets lost underneath. Okay, in the corner again, because sometimes they stick to my mat and move it. All right, and then the chive. I know what I like to use when I can't get them out and I have no fingernails is the putty end from your Take Your Pick tool. So I don't put it on there. I just use it like it is. And of course that one doesn't have any putty. Well, that one is empty. That's about how my videos go. I try to show you something and it's empty. This one might be too. Well, okay, it does work when you have good putty. I obviously need to get a refill for that. All right, and now let's clean that off. We have our 4 flowers. And we're going to stamp our chive. it does work to keep, like, I'll show you. An ink pad makes it good so it's nice and flat. So it was a stamp case, but I just went with what I had on hand there. All right, give it a second for the ink to absorb. And there we go. All right, so that's our stamping. It is nice that we have these add-on dies and the stamps to go with them. I really am glad they kept that going this year. It started last year. All right, so let's put our layer here on our thick white card base. That is up. So I'll share it. In my unboxing, I shared that my kit came to the suburb where it usually goes first before it hits the Flower Mound post office. And then the next day it took off for North Houston. Don't know why. Okay, and I thought, well, it'll head back. No, it then decided to go to San Francisco, California. Now, why it went there is a complete mystery. So it wasn't just my kit. My neighbor also subscribes. Hers went along with it, and then another subscriber of mine. So they just had a fun trip together going to San Francisco. It finally got back to Dallas, and today it's at a suburb of Flower Mound. This is one of my subscribers local that got hers. And so she was kind enough to let me go ahead and get started with alternatives, because she comes to my in-person class and makes alternatives then. So she said, you can go ahead and get started. And I was very thankful for that. So then we're going to put this down on our card. Now I'm going to use some old glue dots that I have here and just put them around flat to put this down flat. I probably should use my little multi-purpose liquid glue. You know what, I'm going to do that because it's faster for you guys. I don't want to take too much of your time. The reason I would prefer glue dots is because this does have some slits in it, and I don't want the liquid glue to ooze through it. So these little cuts. So that's a reason why I would use dots, glue dots. All right, I'm going to put this off to the side like that. All right, we're going to put our chive on this layer that I did just a little brushing of balmy blue on. And then do our flowers. Now you could stamp directly on this rather than make the die cuts if you don't have a die cut and emboss machine. But I like the look of those cut and stamped. All right. And then, of course, I'm going to put this up with dimensionals. And I do cut my large dimensionals in half. I find that's plenty. And we did get a large sheet of dimensionals this kit. I just go with what I've started until they're gone. And then I go to another sheet. All right, let's put that up there. So what do you think about that? And then, of course, a sentiment. Oh, I was going to use this. So this one fits to a wonderful friend. So let me get my Stamparatus back out. And flip this around. That's one thing I love about the Stamparatus, that you can use both sides. And then I need my other alignment guide that has that one on there. And I'm going to use, I think, Old Olive on this, because it's going to go down here. So, to a wonderful friend. It's in the corner. Give that a second for the ink to absorb. And here's a tip. So if it sticks to your stamp, I give it a little press to make sure all the ink got pressed down firmly. And the A is a little bubbly. So let's do that again. That's one thing I love about my Stamparatus is I can do it again, and then it'll be nice and dark too. I'll be sure and press there on the A. All right, that's a good crisp sentiment. Clean that off. And then I'm going to put that right there. It's a little, I prefer those even, but you know, it's kind of just a whimsy of some twine. Now, when you put this on with dimensionals, what I like to do is put the dimensional here on first, so it's not right on the twine. And the ones on the end, it's okay if it hits the twine. You just want to make sure that there's some directly on the card. It's not all on your twine. And then if you want it centered, I like to use my grid paper. And there is about centered. Okay, so there is the one. I'm going to show you my one finished with bling and stuff. So here's this one. I got those a little more even on that card. So what do you think about this? Again, these are very simple alternatives. And that's good sometimes, right? You can get your kits done faster. All right, so that's card number 2. And now we need to use this one. It's going to be very similar to what we just did. Got my emboss layer. I need a thick white card base. All right. And then we need so if you cut that with Petunia Pop, you're going to have the inside piece. Okay, so here is the inside piece. I wanted to use both because as you can see here, when you cut it, you get the inside as well as the scallop, which is, I still have one in there. But here is the inside piece, and I wanted to use both of them. So you'll want that, and then you'll want another white piece to put on the chives with. Okay, so here is the inside piece we're going to use, and I'm going to show you an option at the when I finish this, because I haven't quite glued on my other one, and get your opinion of what you like better. You can leave that in the comments when I show that one. So let's go ahead and add this little blue wash. I just think that gives it, I don't know, a little more grounding. It's not just stark white there. And we did our chives already. Again, so I'll show you this. You can tell me which ones you would like better. So that is Old Olive stamped in Old Olive. And I just did one of the flowers like that. I prefer this, so I'm going to put this down on white. Because to me, the leaves, to me, they stand out better. I thought about crumbling the flowers in my hand to give them some texture, but I haven't done that yet. All right, there's the chives. Done. Well, find the tips of my bottle. All right, so that's going to be for this. Let's go ahead and glue that on to our layer. I haven't used this set a lot, so I really liked pulling it out and playing with it. This wildflower designs. I like how they all nest around each other. All right, so there's that. Here's our card base. We need to glue this on. Oh, and I just scooted that before it was dry. Get that back in the center. So again, mind the direction of your herbs, and let's put this on our embossed layer. Okay, now here is this. Let me show you one I did with, this one I did on basic beige. I have the piece here just so you can see. Which do you like? Do you like white, basic beige? I mean, I really like that one because I added the blue, but I just thought I'd show you some more options. Here's my one I haven't put together yet. Of course, we're going to want that on dimensionals. And then I wanted something to help finish this off. And I looked in my craft room, and you could use twine again like we did on the other, but I had some boho blue ribbon. Unfortunately, they retired it when the, I don't know why, because it's still a current color, but I had this nice piece of boho blue, and I really liked how that color goes with the petunia pop, and it's a nice cheery blue. I'm going to be sad to see that one go. That's part of the in colors that are retiring. Had a glue blob there. So we're gonna do one way and one the other. So this one I already did a pre-tied knot, and I don't think I've shown this in a while. Maybe I should show how I do this. So you can use a medicine bottle, or what I have here is a tack it over and over glue. All right, so here's this one's a knot's very easy. So I leave my ribbon on the spool. All right, cross it over, pull it tight. All right, and you kind of flip that one up. Then you make your knot. Knots are the easiest. All right, and you pull, you can manipulate your ribbon so that you get a good top here. A good little knot. All right, and now you have your knot ready to go. So you just trim, so it's still connected to the spool, and then I trim my side, and then you can trim it. Now if you want it right in the center, you'd cut this right in the center. If you want it one side or the other, like I did that one, you trim it where it's a little longer on one side than the other. So let's put this, we're going to make this one like this, and the one I haven't finished off, we're going to do the ribbon a little differently. And I need to find my tear and tape again. Here it is under my silicone mat. We're going to do these two ways. And you tell me which one. Whoops, you like that? Tore that right off. There we go. All right, let's put this on the left-hand side. And then we'll put this on. Get that out of the way. I won't need it for the next one. Let's just put that there. You know what? No, I'm going to put this one in the center. I changed my mind, because when I put the sentiment on there, I'm going to want to hang it off of that a little bit. This sending love. I think I like it like that. So I need a dimensional to put under there. I'm telling you, I change my mind all the time when I do stuff and get thoughts in my head while I'm making these videos, which is why I kind of get scattered brained. And some scissors. On the end there. And then a little piece. I've got a mess over here, don't I? All my scraps and stuff. Take the backing off that, and then I can set this right there for some sending love. And now let's put the whole thing on a card base. And then we'll put the other one. I have all the pieces ready. I just want to do the ribbon a little differently and get your opinion of what you like better. I'm running along on time, aren't I? Okay, of course, bling makes everything better, so I would add bling to that. And I have one more, and I want to do the ribbon a little differently. So I already have that. It looks like I used the other one. It's a little bigger. It doesn't matter. So what I wanted to do different was just kind of do a swoosh of ribbon behind my flowers there. So let me kind of measure about what I want, something like that. Now you could piecemeal it. I've done that before to save on ribbon, but I'm not going to do that because it takes a little more time. All right, and so I'm going to put that across that. Now you can choose, you can do glue dots or something if you want to go ahead and glue it down. I do that just because I'm not always sure my dimensional is going to hit the ribbon. You know what, I'm going to use tear and tape for speed. It'll get covered up by our label. I would normally put like a little glue dot underneath. I'll do it here. Our label's going to cover it up. And let's do one because I wouldn't want my tag to stick to the card. But let's just get it going this way. Okay, and then take off the dimensionals. Told you this one would be quick because I had the pieces. I could have had it finished, but I just thought I'd kind of show you how I do that. Okay, or a little swaddle of ribbon like that. And then I'd probably put my sentiment here. I'll just do one of the bigger ones. Let's do the help you grow. And then when I'm designing cards, like if I'm not sure if that's where I want it, I get a little piece of dimensional like this and kind of go, do I like that? And so if I do, that's what then I put the dimensionals on the back and stick it down. So which of these, and of course bling makes everything better. I could glue, let me go ahead and glue that down so when I hold it up it doesn't go all over the place. But you can make 4 cards with the supplies, and when you run out of that one chive of the first card, you can make more. I'm just going to start with this design in case I come up with a different design, because that has already used 2 of my envelopes, making one ahead of time, and maybe I'll make something different. All right, so here is my second. Which ribbon, I'm going to hold it up so you can see it better. Which ribbon do you like better? Do you like it here with a knot? Do you like it kind of swooshed behind the label? But I really liked how that blue kind of brought out the blue background. And I think it goes really well with Petunia Pop. And that's not quite centered, is it? So, again, that was 4 cards. Let me switch back to me. Remember, I have a hard time remembering that. I don't know why. All right, so thanks for joining me, everyone. These are 4 alternatives you can make with just 1 envelope. So again, very simple, easy cards. I just did add a few supplies to help jazz it up a little bit. So again, the best compliment you can give me is a thumbs up. Leave me a comment in the comments below. And if you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. There'll be an easy way here in the end credits of where you can hit on my picture to subscribe. Thanks for joining me. Until my next video, I hope you have a great weekend. Bye-bye.